5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of Arkosaurs Evolved. Here we talk about the weird and wacky creatures in Ark Survival Evolved and how they compare, or don't, to the creatures in our own weird and wonderful world. Today we have a pretty fun creature that one of us actually has personal experience with. So he's going to be doing most of the talking tonight while the other two of us sit here and cry.
Yeah. Or in my case, might fall asleep. It's very late for me. Very, very late.
That is true. At any rate, if we are introducing ourselves, I am Dr. Dino, or Doc for short. Not an actual doctor, but practicing paleontologist now. I cannot say what I'm working on, but I might be writing something right now. More on that maybe in a year or two. We'll see.
He's been
You cannot
upgraded.
confirm nor deny that.
Actually, you've been upgraded from the titles of our videos. You've been upgraded from paleontologist in training to paleontologist.
Well, I'm still the junior member
Yes,
on what I'm working
but you're
on.
a junior paleontologist. You're not. Good segue into what I am. Hi, I am Dominic.
In a manner of speaking.
I am currently one of the Vert Paleo interns, specifically in the fossil prep field at Harvard's Museum of Comparative Zoology, and I'm currently also doing cool stuff, which I also can't say. A theme that you might notice as we actually continue this series, we'll all say we're working on cool stuff they can't talk about. That's what happens the further you get into paleontology, kiddos.
Also, I'm just noticing my hat is all bent up because a 6-year-old has been playing with it all day.
Perfect.
I have family visiting.
Speaking of a 6-year-old,
yes,
I'm babysitting 2 of them.
That worked, dear. I guess.
My name is... these 2 boneheads. My name is Eric Ames. I am an incoming master's student preparing to go to the University of Bristol, and I am also working on some cool stuff. So, stuff that actually got an abstract accepted to SVP, so
that you can talk about in a few months.
In a few months, yeah.
Yes.
And we will probably maybe record or upload a recording of that when it happens, if we can.
If we can. The other thing that I thought, since we should probably introduce what SVP is, because people might not know what that is. SVP is the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology. It meets every year, someplace in the world. It's basically like, if you know what a convention for all of Vert Paleo. It's very expensive. So usually people don't go unless they're like Gojira down here, where they get they're presenting something. You're like me, even though I'm not going this year, which is a up-and-coming paleontologist looking to make connections, or you're like an example of Doc, even though Doc's not getting this, the place you work for / go to school to pays for you to go. Even though that's not happening to Doc currently. That's usually it. Now, mind you, there's also GSA, which I also recommend you go to if you want to get into paleontology and have the money to spend like $1,500 just in your bank account for some reason, which is unlikely if you're an intern.
Or if you have very supportive parents.
Yes,
that have a lot of money in their pockets.
Or just think you actually have a future in this. We highly recommend you go. You can make a lot of good connections there. That's how both the interns I work with got their positions. They met through GSA, or met through either people through GSA, or met my current boss. Christina Bird, at last year's SVP. Also, make sure to check where it is before you buy a ticket, as this year it is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was in Australia.
I think,
Something like
it was
that.
in
So
Australia
you might have to buy a
couple years.
plane ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Or
ain't cheap.
convert your money, which is the other thing.
Mhm.
Next year, I
Now-
think it's somewhere I don't remember. But we should probably introduce the creature we're talking about, as it's already been 5 minutes.
Yes, we probably should. Although for some reason, they are all just dedicated to flashing green, and I cannot turn it off.
Oh, that's a passive thing they do.
Yeah, how
it's
do I
because
disable?
they have to be full health.
You know, I just asked that, and they stopped.
Yeah,
So-
they do it until they're fully healed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, that explains it.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
fitting for Gojira's opinion of the creature, the screen is covered in crap, as they were all running around.
it's not as bad. It's a lot. This is Daeodon.
It's
Yes. Today's creature is Daeodon, species name forgotten because I'm bad at my job.
It has 2, actually.
Yes. Yep. Daeodon shoshonensis, the type species, that name described by Cope, Edward Drinker Cope, in 1878, and one questionable one named Daeodon humorosum, also described by Cope a year later.
And those names referred to, they're actually very easy. Because and apparently the Ark Daeodon is Daeodon comediensis.
Which we will get to later when we get to in-game stuff.
Yes.
Comedentis,
And
means, yeah. Their names mean, Daeodon means terrible tooth, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's terrible tooth or
terrible tooth be Dino-don?
I believe that
it's hostile tooth. Hostile tooth or destructive tooth.
Yes.
Which is pretty aptly named, because... Oh, and also, I should note that there were several junior synonyms for Daeodon, namely Bucorus, Amidon, and more famously, Dinohyus. If you're a 2000s kid and you watched Prehistoric Predators, that National Geographic documentary, you may know that name Dinohyus, because it was basically it was named a bit after Daeodon, but after some studies that showed, Dinohyus is actually Daeodon.
I believe, from my looking into it earlier today, the Dinohyus skeleton is a really complete specimen of Socionensis, right? It's pretty complete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Though the holotype of Daeodon is basically like a fragment of a lower jaw.
Which is not great.
So it's
because it was named by Cope.
Yeah. But mind you, it is, from what I've looked into it, it's better than most. It's definitely diagnostic of what this thing is, which Gojira will get into at some point today.
Which is a rare Cope W, I guess, naming it on something actually diagnostic.
Very rare.
Well, it's a bit diagnostic when this type of animal is what it is. This...
You mean a mammal?
Well, that too. And we'll get to that. This is an entelodont, and...
Yes.
I think...
And?
Probably a few minutes, Gojira will go more into phylogeny, because it's a mammal, and I don't know... I know mammals bite teeth, because...
And it is actually not the kind of mammal you may think it is. Though it's obviously in the class Mammalia, but when you look at that skull, you might think it is actually part of Carnivoria, but it's actually not. It is actually an artiodactyl. It is basically an even-toed ungulate. So it's in the same family of mammals as like giraffes, bison, deer, pigs, and whales.
Hippos as
And
well.
hippos, and is in the family Entelodontidae, which is basically they're pig-like artiodactyls with giant heads, low snouts, and a pretty narrow gait. And they were pretty mean. They were, as Walking with Beasts said, they were big bullies.
They're actually in a subgroup, by the way, a clade. They're in the Cetiodontomorphs, which basically means you're closer related to
Yes,
whales and other artiodactyls.
Which is
exactly.
kind of a surprise. Well,
Yeah,
kind of, at least at first glance.
I mean, when you look at the skulls, they're
Yes.
actually pretty similar to stuff like early whales like Basilosaurus, so it's not that
they're
far-fetched.
really similar to some.
I'll
actually, they're similar.
Up on screen. Up on screen. I'll go ahead and I'll put a Daeodon skull in some early whales.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Actually, Ambulus did it. Yeah, sorry, I was lagging, so.
Oh, I can see Ambulus.
I have to fight the lag.
It's basically like a big land Ambulocetus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually probably more similar to where Entelodons initially got their, like, common name, I guess you could call it, and what they were initially thought to be related to as the terror pigs. I've heard terror pigs.
Yeah.
Yep, I've heard terror pigs, hell pigs, hell
Terminator pigs.
Yes,
Terminator pigs I've heard too.
Yes.
That's
that is
one.
for
That's
Daeodon specifically, Terminator pig.
Yeah. These things are actually, I think the best analog that we have for them would probably be bears today.
Yes,
these things probably ate
because
whatever they want.
Well, rather than say large wild boars.
Wild boars, they can be pretty omnivorous.
They don't hunt. Yeah, but like
no, but they do.
Large wild boars. Yeah.
I thought they would hunt.
They're not macro predators.
No,
yeah,
but they are good scavengers.
Yeah, they're scavengers. Yeah, but these things were definitely macro predators if they wanted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do we know that?
I don't know if we have evidence of it. Its teeth show that.
I mean,
as someone who's been looking at teeth.
Like, yes, they have super powerful jaws, and they basically have. Yeah, they have razor sharp canines. They have big molars that can, give a really powerful bite, and
a mass.
Basically, exactly, and their specific diets probably included stuff like nuts, roots, vines, as well as, meat and even bones. Like, it has been theorized that they could actually, crush bone and even eat the enamel.
Well, something interesting we brought up, or something we brought up before with Doedicarus, maybe. Since this is, a mammal that was alive until recently compared to most of the stuff in the game, has there been isotope analyses done on the teeth?
Yes, actually. Not on Daeodon. Not on Daeodon specifically. But I've been looking into a bit on their diet. On Entelodon itself, it seems to have almost the same diet as just the wild boar, at least very similarly. It does mention that Entelodontids didn't have the same dentition as modern day pigs, in the same of they weren't as well adapted to eating like grass and like shearing through plants. Which the other thing is that it does seem baby Entelodons, because apparently we have those, which I didn't even know.
Surprised.
They were born with a full set of working sharp teeth, which
really that's kind of
of
weird for a mammal, isn't it?
They were good to go.
It is.
Yeah, that's really weird for a mammal.
They were born with a full set of 32 deciduous teeth, which is kind of insane. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Daeodon specifically has teeth wear very similar to modern day hyenas.
Yes.
Really? So does that indicate
Yeah.
maybe like a
Bone
primarily
crushing.
predator?
That suggests crushing and eating bone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, as we mentioned before.
take that
And
as you will.
It may have had like also similar ecology to stuff like grizzly bears in Yellowstone, where if you have like a hyenadontid or a bear dog that took down like a caligathere, and they'd probably be good kleptoparasites. They'd be able
Oh yeah.
to steal the kill and keep it for themselves. It's basically think of it like a bison but with a crocodile head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of bison, they actually have other similarities to bison, as they
Yes.
have, which we can see on this model, a massive there's a short term, but they have a massive
Yeah.
hump, um,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
packed with muscle.
connects. Oh god, yeah. They also have a massive sagittal crest, which if you don't know what a sagittal crest is, you might notice it on what's a good bears. Have you
Gorillas.
ever seen a bear skull?
dogs. A lot of big dogs.
Dog.
Yeah, and
Um,
hyenas.
Actually, let's use the dog example because that's something like a lot of people. Well, I'm not going to
yeah,
say a lot of people have access to, but everyone's petted
but
a
they'll have
dog.
dog.
If you pet the top of a dog's head, you'll feel a ridge running between the ears in the very
Most of the
center
time.
of the head. Most of the time, especially on bigger dogs with bigger jaws. That's the
Yes.
sagittal crest. It's a huge muscle attachment point.
Yes.
The bigger
and
it is,
typically,
the better you
the
are
stronger
at
the bite
biting.
is.
So, by the way, I have looked more into it. It does appear that Entelodons, it very much appears. Also, you were right. There are pigs that do active predation. I did not know that. You were right with that, Doc. But it does appear that one, besides Daeodon itself, most Entelodons shared their environment. Maybe even Daeodon itself. I haven't looked. Gojira can correct me if I'm wrong. Shared environments with definite active macro predators that had the top predator niche.
Yes,
Amphicyonids
and
mostly.
yes, and Daeodon was no exception. Like they lived with amphicyonids.
So, and
we don't have an amphicyanid in the game, do we? Which is kind
I
of a
was going
shame.
to talk about them. I was going to actually talk about them in this because if you don't know amphicyanid, it's if you didn't
bear
know,
dog.
bear
Yeah.
dog. That's actually
Bear
the best
dog,
way to
yeah.
describe it. If you guys thought the land before dinosaurs was weird, mammals got really weird during the middle of the Cenozoic. During the Oligocene and Eocene,
The
mammals
Miocene.
got, and Miocene too. Mammals got weird.
Yeah.
The top predators were giant hoofed things, or hell, mammals.
Yes.
Other things got weird too. In the Americas, I think they're dying out at the time, but you get a pretty extensive group of hoofed crocodiles. Which
what
I don't know.
Sebecids?
No, Sebecids were South America. The North American ones are proper crocodilians.
Oh, sweet.
I should know their names. Their name, I think, their name might actually mean hoof croc. They're
you guys
really cool
continue.
things.
I will be right back.
Alright.
Okay.
There's also some nimravids. If you don't know what a nimravid is, they are saber-toothed cat lookalikes. They're not proper cats though.
Like
dark.
They're hyenodontids, which are
hyenodons in the game, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Actually,
sweet.
And
what are the macro predators?
I think that's it. Those are the main three that I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's the three I remember.
Yeah, it does appear that so one, it mentions that the test with Entelodon says it shares Nothing with modern day bears suggesting it was more of a pig than a bear, at least with Teledon itself. But there's evidence with
Archaeotherium.
Archaeotherium, I will make sure I pronounce that right. With Archaeotherium, that it did at least scavenge. There's a bone cache in the White River Formation of an early camelid called Probotherium. I am quoting directly from Wikipedia here, and or the art actually not technically not Wikipedia. I'm quoting from the article, but Wikipedia helps sum stuff up. That appears to have puncture wounds and damage to its back neck area and skull that is like something clamped down and basically snapped its neck.
Basically,
similar to Archaeotherium. It is these things were very much actually probably the ursines are a great way to sum these up. Of this, they fit into whatever niche they could. If there were no macropredatories, these became pigs. If they could get big enough or strong enough to become predators, in Daeodon's case it definitely was, as it is by far the biggest one, they became massive scavengers and stuff. Or predators even.
If there were no big browsers or anything like that, they would probably be browsers of their environment.
I would put money on maybe there's an environment where there's an almost herbivorous version of these.
Oh,
Doc,
I would not be surprised at all.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
He was there for.
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have.
And honestly, like, you could also really, like, hyenas are a really good analog for that, because much like hyenas, all their power's in the head.
Oh,
like, all their powers are in the jaws. Whereas whereas hyenas, they have actually pretty similar body builds to Entelodons, albeit a bit smaller. Slope back, like
weird sloping.
Legs built for cursorial locomotion.
Reverend Doc trying to put a.
Like I said, family is visiting, so I had to do something.
That's fine.
I think I heard something about someone being cursorial. How good were these things at running?
Entelodons.
Oh, we should probably describe what cursorial means.
Cursorial basically means, unlike ambush predators, unlike stuff that ambush, cursorial means you walk or run over very long distances. So when humans are cursorial, we are built for walking very long distances.
You're built for a marathon, not a sprint.
And were Entelodons built for
yes, very much so.
Yes.
Like they wouldn't have run how they're running in here. This model
they probably would have been more like it's
like
very
a weird horse gallop kind of.
It would be like a bison.
Bison, yeah. This is a very warthoggy. The more I watch this thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Doc, you're very low. Put your mic closer to your face.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe a bit of a spoiler for a later section, but a good representation of them galloping is probably from Walking with Beasts.
Yes.
And I know that's not Daeodon specifically, but...
A better example would be Bloodlines Agate.
Which is...
No,
not
the
yet.
trailer is. And you can see it running in the trailer, so...
And it looks amazing.
I'll play a segment.
It's like the best Daeodon I've ever seen.
Speaking of it, Bewitch...
Oh, he's gonna get the model.
Oh, yes.
Bloodlines
Dom has
Agate.
something special for this episode.
It's not painted yet. I need to get it painted. But, is that good contrast?
Well, if you move your lower hand down so we can actually see the model.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long legs and a giant head because it's a monstrosity of nature.
Oh God, yeah.
One of my favorite monstrosities in nature.
It's these things also. It appears that again, it appears the one in Ark is very much warthoggy in nature.
we'll get into that when we get to Ark.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these things were built. These
Like tanks.
tanks. So I'd say these things are more built to just survive. Like
They were
Yeah,
built like
that's-
ATVs.
yeah, they
Yes.
slotted in
ATV.
wherever they wanted and dominated whatever they wanted. They
And Entelodonts were one of the first creatures I ever saw in a documentary, and I was like, what is
Yeah.
this?
Exactly.
Because they just
like
Yeah.
it
they
was
don't
like
fit with anything alive today. And of course that's because they have no living descendants, but
no.
even the things they look closest to,
The
pigs,
Artiodactyls
they're
are
not
weird.
pigs.
I believe there's another weird Artiodactyl later on, and in this game, if I'm correct about
Yes.
Andrewsarchus.
Yes.
the one that should have been like our next creature if we didn't have that fluke with the wheel.
We have a lost recording
Yes.
of us rolling Andrewsarchus, and then we lost it and got very sad because we couldn't use it.
Because it's Daeodon.
Yeah, and but Artiodactyls, if a common trope. Actually, I was talking about this earlier today in at work. People in nature, people today tend to think of the herbivorous animals as the nice and kind ones, which as soon as you get into any sort of zoology, you immediately learn the big herbivores are always the meanest thing in the environment because they have to be.
Or at the very least, you should give them respect.
Oh God, yes.
If they decide to hurt you, they will hurt you.
They will.
And they're not afraid to, because you don't need to be you don't need to be the healthiest animal in the world to chase down a salad.
But also, well, the other thing is that a carnivore needs its teeth and claws to get its food, so it will be more cautious, and it will. They tend to rather not fight because fighting could mean not eating. A herbivore doesn't care because, as you said, you don't need to do much to get some salad. But also, they have to fight off the things trying to eat them. So for them, it's life and death to fight back.
Speaking of fighting, one note about Entelodons is that we do have evidence of facial biting for them. Like, kind of like, basically, like, if you have heard about, theropod face biting, particularly with
evidence of what? You cut out for me.
Facial biting.
Like from Walking with Beasts. Walking with Beasts is right.
Entelodons will do. We have evidence of injuries of Entelodons with big bite marks on their skulls that fit other Entelodon teeth like a glove.
Yeah.
And they were pretty big teeth, so it would cause a lot of damage.
Actually, you know what's a great thing that would probably be for most Entelodons? If I'm going under the assumption that most were probably more herbivorous than carnivorous, because it doesn't seem that Daeodon and Archaeotherium are outliers in at least how they were. They probably were functioned like land hippos.
Yeah.
Just angry, evil things.
Which are more omnivorous than you might expect.
They are, yes.
Actually, a quick question. With Daeodon in particular, did it have binocular vision?
I would probably say the skull. With the skull, I would probably say yes, if a little bit.
We have confirmation all Entelodons had a binocular vision.
Yes. Okay. They had stereoscopic vision.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to find a good one you can kind of see it here. It's good illustration. So this is a topic I don't think we've brought up before, because we haven't covered a lot of active predators, discounting our first episode. So you, viewer, if you are a human, you have binocular vision. Meaning both of your eyes face forward and their range of vision overlaps.
You can
That
see
makes
depth.
it easier for you to see in 3D, because your eyes can track how far away something is. A lot of prey animals have eyes more on the sides of their head to give a wider range of vision, so they can see predators coming. Predators have binocular vision.
They tend to. It's not a set rule, but
there are exceptions.
Rule, but it is a very general trend that seems to hold true in many cases.
It is a general trend.
It seems to hold true more of predators have binocular vision than prey don't, as there are a lot of prey animals that do have binocular vision.
Yes.
Mind you, this rule applies to mammals very much specifically most of the time.
Also dinosaurs.
Yeah, they apply to dinosaurs. But I would say it doesn't include birds, because all birds came from predatory things, so all birds, or at least most of them, have binocular vision.
Also, speaking of dinosaurs, that Alpha Carno is having a good time over there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll sick the herd on him when
most non-dinosaurian reptiles have binocular vision, except for, I think, iguanas. And even then I'm not sure about that. And most amphibians. Yes, because top of the head.
Yes.
True. And actually, that does kind of bring up something I noticed about Intelodonts growing up too. Their eyes are often pretty near the top of their head, aren't they?
They are.
You think they might have some semi-aquatic adaptations?
No.
Probably not. No.
No? So it's just where the eyes are?
That might be a Cetiodontomorpha thing, and why they're able to become aquatic, actually.
Exactly. Could they swim? Maybe.
Yeah.
Did they have...
Well, I mean, most living things can.
Probably not. Yeah.
They're probably weirdly good swimmers, like how elephants are weirdly good swimmers.
Or like how deer are weirdly good swimmers.
Or sloths. If you didn't know, sloths are amazing swimmers, actually, which are weird and strange.
Yeah.
Sloths are weird and general. He moves weird when he walks.
He
looks like a gorilla.
That's awful. Why does it do that?
We'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
Wait. Was this the first cope discovery we've had?
No.
Allosaurus was marsh.
Allosaurus is marsh. Cope and seethe. Doedicarus cope?
Let me double check.
This might be the first. Oh wait, no, Diplocaulus
is.
Because I know Kentrosaurus isn't. I'm just going to the real.
Is thing. Owen Richard Owen?
So yes, this is the first cope, because that's the only real things we've had.
Oh, I have dropped out.
If I remember correctly. Oh wait, Diplocaulus. Wait, that one might be.
Here, I'm back. Sorry, my internet dropped out.
Doedicarus is Owen. I'm checking Diplocaulus now.
Diplocaulus was cope. I remembered that.
Yes,
Diplocaulus is cope. This is our second cope.
Okay. And out of curiosity, where is this gentleman found?
Daeodon specifically is found in what is pretty much all over in the basically North America, though specifically the most famous Daeodon are found in what is called Agate Springs in Nebraska. And I actually got to take a little trip with my college's paleo club years ago to the Agate fossil beds, and it's really cool.
I've heard it's beautiful.
It is. We did have a big rainstorm when we visited, and we took that big trail that goes right around the fossil site. We did find some fragments. We didn't know what they were, but they were pretty cool. But it was a fun experience. And speaking of my college,
Oh, sorry, I was just curious. Isn't there an Entelodont known from Badlands National Park too?
Yes, Archaeotherium.
Yeah, it's Archaeotherium,
Okay.
which is actually if you think of an Entelodonts, you tend to think of Archaeotherium, despite Entelodon being the named thing.
Yeah,
Because Archaeotherium is very complete, like
very. There's many fossils of them.
100%, and we have a lot of them.
And yes, and that actually segues into basically my school's history with Entelodonts, because while it is so, my undergraduate school was South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, and during, I believe, like, there was like a big excavation in Badlands National Park called the Pig Dig, and what happened there was basically the location in like a prehistoric watering hole, and during the 90s, paleontologists, including a lot from undergrad, went to Badlands National Park to excavate the fossils there, and they found a ton of Archaeotherium bones. I mean, literally, like, so many. Like we have, like, in our research lab collections, there is a whole, like, column of just Archaeotherium, Archaeotherium, Archaeotherium. It is amazing.
I mean, at least coming from dinosaur paleontology, that sounds like an amazing problem to have.
Speaking of amazing problems to have of Archaeotherium, we have a big enough sample size to prove sexual dimorphism.
We do.
Ooh.
It appears that, if you don't mind me taking this little bit, because I thought it was cool.
By all means.
It appears that, one, only the males have evidence of facial biting on them, so it was probably a ritualized combat display. And
exactly.
Two, males appear to have expanded jugals. So
yes.
if you haven't seen what a male pig looks like, they have these massive, like, jowls almost.
Yeah. Let me get material to craft a pointer.
Yeah. Let me get Archaeotherium up on my thing so I can get better things. Yeah. We assume in modern day pigs, I say modern day piglets, the pig, in pigs today, because that's the most likely to, they're used for display and chemical communication, basically saying, hey, I'm big sexy male, you want to like me. It also but yeah, they have massive males apparently having huge jugals compared to the females.
Yep.
So
right where the spear is touching, that is the jugal.
Yeah, and males had
these
massive
kind of wings coming off the side of the face.
Actually,
huge.
Another walking with beasts, the walking with beast ones, those are probably what the male jugals look like. Where these massive, like, jutting out pieces of bone. They're right here. If I remember what the walking with beast ones look like.
So almost like the sideways version of what we usually see in, like, rhinos and cervids.
What was that?
What about
like
rhinos?
The sideways version of what we see in rhinos and cervids.
Yes.
So they have the horn on the top.
Yes.
Yeah. They basically have horns on the side.
Yeah, there's actually a great example of massive jugals is for a sec, a synapsid called Estomatosuchus. If Doc wants to put a picture of that, there's a really good
beautiful
breaster. Exactly. Other thing interesting about Daeodon, it is mentioned that it is a very lightly built neck for its huge head. So the massive hump on its back was to support its huge head.
So I do have a question. Do we think that any Entelodonts were gregarious? As in lived in either packs or herds?
Coming together to mate, probably, but
then again, sexual dimorphism and that sort of like ritualized combat tends to only evolve in group dynamics.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
So,
Moose
No.
have ritualistic combat.
Yeah, but moose females are also not as, from what I
so
They
understand,
don't
not
have.
as different in size.
yeah.
They're pretty different in size, and they don't
They
have
are.
antlers,
Oh, and they don't. And they
so
also
they
don't
have
have
a
the
lot less
flaps
muscle
too.
mass.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they don't have the
You're right.
do-lap.
The basal function of, not, am I saying the serve? Why do I say field servant is the wrong word there? It's not.
Like deer, servant.
Yeah,
Yeah, artiodactyls.
for some reason the word when I think servant, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
servals for some reason. Don't know
Oh,
why.
Yeah,
the
cervids is
cat
good.
thing.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
brain just. But yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
you're okay. Cervid is right.
But like the basal thing for cervids, they, from what I understand, they have evolved the group dynamics first and then spread because Irish elk also have it, and I doubt Irish elk lived in herds. We'll get to Irish elk later, actually, because
Oh,
there's,
you mean like that Irish elk?
yeah, female Irish elk. Perfect. Yeah,
Oh no, it's missing its antlers. Let's give it them.
I thought you were just gonna murder it with pigs.
Yeah, you know what? We can have an illustration of pack hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I doubt these
So
things pack hunted if they did hunt. I would
probably
doubt
not. Like they probably, if there was enough like vegetation around, they probably congregate kind of
Yeah.
like rhinos or. But
I
I
would.
wouldn't say they were legit pack hunters. I would not say.
I would probably say they might have functioned more towards with the pig dynamic, wild boar, where you'd have like one big boar with his like harem of a few females. That's what I would guess
Yeah,
would be most similar.
that'd be
Maybe.
interesting. But we do have a lot of fossil trackways of entelodons,
Mhm.
especially in Badlands National Park, and if I remember correctly, it was like just solitary individual trackways. There weren't like whole groups of them like moving in the same direction at the same time. It was like solitary individuals.
No, that's fair. It was just a question I wanted to float, just because
Yeah,
a lot of ungulates are at least semi-social, and if nothing else, biting on the face is definitely asocial behavior.
it is social.
Yeah, and
Like,
it doesn't appear that the social behavior is like, it definitely is aggressive, but it's not like, it's not a predatory behavior. It's a very much display sort of.
yeah.
It,
Like,
it's not
just
a.
because they were, yeah.
You go first. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, just because they weren't in like tight knit primate communities doesn't mean they're automatically not social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I've a bit more so about Daeodon specifically. Daeodon appears to be the most cursorial, at least of the parts that we have, out of all entelodons. Where it actually, Daeodon doesn't have a dew claw, unlike other entelodons. It loses it completely.
On the hind feet, the forefeet, or both?
Losing their dew claws entirely, and
So
having
all four of them.
So front and
proxi- and having proximately fused metacarpals.
oh, so kind of converging on horses and camelids,
Bison.
huh?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, bison.
Bison. Bison and rhinos. Oh no, the way their
Yeah.
tails attached, they're very bison or rhino apparently, with having um very strong and tall spines on the thoracic vertebrae. Sorry, yeah, thoracic. I said that right.
Up on the
Um,
chest.
yes. It also appears that the other thing that is noticed is that Daeodon is very rare in the beds that are dry season specific. Um,
Hmm.
and wherever there's supposed like carcasses, you don't find them. So it appears that these things were not scavenging, at least during the dry season. So
Okay.
Daeodon I would support mostly with being an active hunter more than an opportunistic scavenger.
Oh, I mean,
look,
almost all carnivores are opportunistic scavengers.
Except for felids.
No, even felids. Like, lions steal hyena kills.
They steal fresh kills. Felids are the only known carnivorous anything that can't eat, like, properly they can't properly scavenge. Due to I should remember
Is it because of how
this.
quickly vitamin C decays?
Yeah, that. Felids cannot produce vitamin C, and
Just
they
like primates.
need it. Yeah, it's why primates aren't scavengers either. So it's why you'll never have like proper scavenging in felids. You'll get kleptoparasitism, which is you kill something and I immediately take it from you, but they won't just like walk on a day's old carcass and eat it.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to, because that's what I think scavenging is. Kleptoparasitism isn't really scavenging in my opinion.
I mean, I disagree. I think kleptoparasitism does count as scavenging, but that's a debate for another day.
Yeah, yeah. There apparently.
Oh, go ahead.
You go first.
Oh, I was gonna suggest the next topic. You go ahead.
Well, there is more topic on Daeodon being a carnivore, as there is some well, then there's evidence that someone said, it doesn't actually look a paper, it just says on the site FOSS 2021. Let me see.
You mean 2001?
2001, yes.
Yeah, it was like a FBP abstract, I believe.
Yes, abstract of papers, 59th annual. Yes, it is. But someone mentioned that its head was far too large and it was far too heavy to effectively be taking down prey, so it must have exclusively been a scavenger. But its bison-like adaptations, running and stereoscopic vision, characteristic of predators, makes this very weird. There's also apparently evidence of a calicotherium with really bad damage to something that only looks like it could be caused by an Entelodont, but it's not. There's no puncture wound; it's crushing.
Oh yeah, then definitely Daeodon, because
is it possible it could have been a crocodilian or maybe an amphionid?
Are there any crocodilians big enough to take on a calicotherium?
A Moropus? It's Moropus, I believe.
Okay. Moropus is huge.
Yeah, Moropus is massive.
It probably wasn't a crocodilian.
Well, let me check. There might have been a crocodilian at the time. Let me quickly check the place you study. I get fossil beds.
While you're looking, I cannot wait to get to calicotherium. I love those things so much.
There is
so cool.
Promeriococaris, a semi-aquatic hippo-like oreodont, but
I doubt that was doing
crocodilians. No crocodilians.
Okay. In that environment?
No. Not in agate fossil beds.
Yeah, mind you, it's only listing mammals, and I doubt there's only mammals there. From what I can see.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find something.
Is there a Morrison-like bias to large things?
Yeah.
I mean, agate fossil beds has some pretty small animals in there too, so.
Yeah, it has Paleocastor, which is pretty small.
Oh, the ancient beaver.
A land burrowing beaver. Yes.
Oh.
That large corkscrew-shaped burrows.
Which is weird.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And there were also a ton of oreodonts.
Oh yeah.
Which are the bane of my existence.
Dinohyas isn't a real thing.
Nope.
Oh,
what do you mean? I'm looking at a circle of them right here.
I think I found something. A museum of the National Park Service mentions a crocodile. Let me see if I can find it. Variety of other animals. I can't, Agate Springs fauna.
Hey, really quick, I think I'm noticing that the in-game model might have some facial scarring.
Ooh.
Which, if that's what it is, that's actually a really neat detail.
That's actually kind
Yeah,
of cool.
that's definitely what it is, yeah.
Right over here. So they're not wrinkles, I don't think.
It looks to be a bias. Either no one's mentioned it or only mammals have been found there, and that's definitely wrong. So,
Yeah, that's definitely weird. You
fossil
think there's at least be
records
some fish.
incomplete.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well,
Mammal supremacy.
it's a savanna, from what I understand. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we would find fish, but yeah, because we get it's Morapis. Morapis is the only Calicothere from there. Also, other things that we have there are we have 3 different tiny baby horses in
Myohippus.
Mary Kippet, Mary
And
Merichippus.
Merychippus and Parahippus. Diceratotherium.
Oh,
Or
two-horned rhinoceros.
Diceratotherium. Menoceros, the pony-sized rhino, and the most common animal there.
We have thousands of them, apparently. Thousands.
Yeah.
We have 2 separate types of bear dogs, which apparently have evidence of pack hunting, which I didn't know till reading Daeodon.
2 Oreodonts.
1 semi-aquatic, 1 not.
Well, of course there's Oreodonts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oreodonts, you cannot escape.
We have...
I should know.
We have early camelids, which, if you didn't know, fun fact, camels originally evolved in North America. Fun fact.
Yes.
This will be the only time we can talk about camels.
And migrated to Asia and Africa.
And South America.
You know, you'd think we'd have gotten a camel in Scorched Earth.
We'll talk about that when we get to Moralops, whatever it's called.
Morellatops.
And
Morellatops.
Stendioceras, an antelope-like mammal and an extinct relative of Artiodactyls.
Yes. I'm sending you a picture of Paleocastor burrows if you look into the chat.
Yep.
Those are cool as shit.
Corkscrew.
They are.
That's so cool.
I remember like seeing those in, I believe, a lecture at Mines, and it's cool as shit.
Oh, it's so cool.
Is it Orodromius that has a burrow that's kind of like that?
Yes, I believe.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I believe Orodromius is the one you're thinking of.
And what Thrinaxodon too? Maybe did it also have corkscrew burrows?
Thrinaxodon. Let me maybe. I don't know about Thrinaxodon.
I know it's at least been found in burrows.
It has been found in burrows. I don't know if it's like that. I know Orodromius at least has weird burrows like that. Now the question is, I believe we discussed this a few times ago. Do we want to read out the dossier or no? I believe we stopped. We just.
Well, the only one we haven't done it for is Noglin because it doesn't have.
Noglin have one, but we should probably.
I can.
Well, before we do, maybe just to finish the real life stuff. I think we've already mentioned the environment, kind of savanna-like, a bit of forest. There's not really a great place to show that on the island, unfortunately.
No.
So I chose a riverbank by the redwoods, so we got some trees. And maybe, what are its big appearances? If not Daeodon specifically, at least Entelodonts. I know we've already mentioned at least 2.
I believe there's 3 main ones.
Walking with Beasts, which is just like a general entelodont. They don't go into like the specific genus, but it is from Mongolia, I believe. So, prehistoric predators, which showcased both Archaeotherium and Daeodon, which for some reason they called Dinohyus, and they kind of pushed the notion that Archaeotherium is a direct ancestor of Daeodon, which probably isn't true.
I remember that.
From what I'm not going to correct you, but from what I understand, it's in contention. Archaeotherium is more basal than so called Dinohyus. It appears so either one of two things. Either Daeodon has done a T-Rex thing and has come from Asia bigger and stronger than its relatives. Or it is a direct descendant of Archaeotherium, and Archaeotherium also spread to Asia because there is an entelodont in Asia.
Yes.
I forgot. What's its name? It's Para-entelodon intermedium.
Yes. Which might actually be the one from Walking with Beasts, but I'm either that or Entelodon proper.
I would probably assume it's Entelodon proper.
Yeah. And Agate Fossil, like Agate Springs, the independent documentary project that's going on.
Very cool. The Kickstarter ended last year, and we should be getting. We've been told we're getting the first episode soon. It is made by really cool people showing a time in the history that not shown very much. We mentioned the Eocene, Oligocene, and Miocene. Very, very cool things. Basically, when these things lived. And the main characters are a Morapis and a Daeodon.
That's an odd couple.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
No.
And I will say, like, when I was younger, I thought, like, one of the, like, background species in the Ice Age movies was an entelodont, but after doing some research, I found that it's actually Platybelodon, which is Proboscidean.
Yes, it's that.
I will say, there's, sorry, wow, I can talk. Archaeotherium, at least, has appeared in Jurassic Park property. It is in Jurassic World Alive. And at least in my opinion, I really like the Archaeotherium for Jurassic World Alive.
The Daeodon is actually in Jurassic Park Builder, and from what I remember, it's pretty good.
I just looked at the one for Jurassic World Alive, and it's actually not that bad. Like
Archaeotherium or Entelodon?
Archaeotherium.
I remembered wrong.
The Entelodon, I don't like as much.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the mohawk.
No, I do remember this correctly. So there's Daeodon, Archaeotherium, and Entelodon. They're all different. I remembered wrong because the Entelodon in that game is really good. It's the first animal you're able to get in the Ice Age area. It's this little red little piggy that's adorable. Daeodon is a bigger version, and Archaeotherium is like a weird. It's very cool. Very interesting little things. Daeodon appears to be the strongest.
Yeah, and they you can hybridize them in Jurassic World Alive, and they actually have some kind of interesting hybrids.
I have seen them. We do not have to share those here, but let's get into the Ark version after an hour.
Yes.
God, we said this video would be quick. It is 1 a.m. for me.
Who said that?
I tried.
Yes. Well, now it's my turn to read the mammal dossier.
Oh, before you read it,
what voice should I do?
Before you read it, its name.
Can you do Miss Piggy?
Yeah, can you do Miss Piggy? That works. Its Ark name it means funny tooth. If Commodentis means that,
yeah,
I can double check that.
Sure, I can try Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Yes. Do it.
Daeodon comadensis is the largest known species of Entelodon, an omnivorous family of ancient mammals that are sometimes referred to as hill pigs. Even though Daeodon has as many similarities to modern hippopotami as it does to swina, uh, I found that to be a suitable nickname. Daeodon is as mean as it looks. There was no match for my Kermie, and any survivor who wanders too close will find that the hard way, except for Kermie. As an omnivore with a voracious appetite, Daeodon scavenges, forages, and hunts to survive. It has little qualms when it comes to its diet, and that has helped it thrive in the island's harsh tundra. Its temper hasn't hurt either, as many would-be predators would rather seek out less vicious prey. Domesticated. Many tribes have made excellent use of Daeodon packs within their war parties, not only because of their fierce nature, but due to its extraordinary ability to rapidly heal itself. I've theorized that this healing factor is why it seems to have such a high metabolism, though what is particularly extraordinary is its capability to share this benefit with nearby creatures. I've even heard some survivors mention that the Daeodon also has a unique ability to root out rare mushrooms as well.
Ruffle pig.
So, yeah, it's a, I'd say maybe like a mid-strength support unit.
Also,
Is an
comadensis
interesting idea.
means eating, or eater, or glutton.
Which fits, honestly.
Yeah?
Okay.
So it's basically a healer.
Oh, it
It's
can
the
jump.
the eater. It's the hostile eating tooth, is what its name means in Ark.
Yeah.
Nom nom nom
Well,
nom.
Nom,
Gojira, as the one of us with the strongest opinions about the in-game version,
Yes.
where would you like to start? How about you take control here?
Like, what would you like me to do?
I don't know. Where do you want to start? Because I know you want to tear
We
this
want
thing
to
to
rip
shreds.
this thing apart.
Yes.
It's not
its
actually
body.
as bad as
It
I
is
thought.
that wiener dog ass body. I hate it.
It's
It is the body is way too long. It's got those stubby little legs.
No,
and
it
I'm
looks
sorry.
like an overweight English bulldog.
It's a warthog.
It does. And
it's a warthog.
It's an inbred Pumbaa.
Yeah. It's
and
warthoggy.
honestly, and when you see it, and when you showed it walking and trotting, it looks so much worse.
The trotting isn't bad.
I
trotting,
I like the tail up in there,
I don't-
honestly.
I don't like the tail. It looks silly.
Warthog. That's what warthogs do.
Yeah, but warthogs are abominations of nature, so
So is
they're
this
ugly.
thing. Your
Yeah,
point?
they can't
Yeah,
go
but
extinct.
Unfortunately, as
Giant
much as I want this thing to be
warthog.
eradicated from Ark,
It's-
but the way it walks, especially, is just it looks like a gorilla. It doesn't
Yeah,
feel
the
like a
gorilla
bison.
that looked so bad. That
It
looked
looks so bad.
awful.
So for the record, folks, mammal spines are actually weirdly flexible. They're
are.
especially good at flexing up and down. That's why whales swim like this.
That's what
It's not very
that's why
common for them to do this.
gorillas only do it because gorillas. I don't even
Kind of
think.
need to.
I don't even think giant anteaters do it as the only other things to walk on their knuckles. Calicotherium. The only things to do it, like side to side, are calicotheriums, at least derived ones. And gorillas
So things with arms longer than their legs.
that walk on their
Yes.
knuckles. Yes.
And this one does not walk on its knuckles. So I don't know why they
It doesn't have them.
made it.
No.
No, it walks on its tippy toes.
It
Hooves.
also has the dew claws, actually, which
Which it shouldn't.
feet.
but I don't care about realism.
Yeah.
If it did have them, should they be there?
Yeah,
No,
it
like,
shouldn't. If they were, should the Ducals be there? I don't know
Yeah,
off the top
if
of my
it
head.
had them.
I think it should be like a bit further up, like on the
Yeah.
ankle.
I think that's
Yeah.
correct. If I'm
And
And
while we're talking about the legs, holy cow, are they way too short?
they're way
God,
too.
the model
those-
again.
And the hooves, like, they look way too like. Yeah, they're not digitigrade. They look way too plantigrade. It looks like someone in a Entelodont costume, and they have their feet like those like horse
yeah.
costumes where it's
Yeah.
like one person on the front end, the other on the back end, and they
That's
have
actually-
their legs out. It feels
And for
like
this one, they're both
that.
sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, it feels like that, but with Entelodont. Like, it feels like
It's especially
plantigrade feet.
it's especially bad on Daeodon because of how cursorial Daeodon became.
Yes. It was very cursorial.
Now, mind you,
How do we think we're doing on size? And actually, should I create the platforms or
Daeodon, size-wise, was
Yeah,
about
It's pretty big.
its
About the
shoulder
size
was
of a
about
bison.
its shoulder. No, it's not the size of the bison. No, it's actually quite small, littler than that.
It's about
It's
about 1.77 meters at the
so
shoulder.
it's 5'8" at the shoulder.
So
so that's too tall.
it is
Is it?
even with.
How
I'm
tall
pretty
is
sure
your
it is.
character?
I'll put up
I
a
think
size
slightly
chart of
above average
Daeodon
height.
in the. I'll put a size chart of Daeodon on the group
Its
chat.
skull is 3 feet long.
Yeah. So even with the wiener dog body, it is still too big.
Okay, and I'm making the platforms. I should have done this
We
earlier.
have to get our measurements. Its
Yeah.
skull
Oh,
should
and-
be platforms
Yes,
are what?
like-
3x3 meters or 2x2 meters? What is it?
Yes. 3x3.
3x3. Okay.
And-
its skull should be a third of the length of one then.
Speaking of skulls, like, I should also note that it is way too shrink wrapped. Like, normally I'm not one to complain about shrink wrapping, particularly with dinosaurs, because, like, a lot of times, like,
Yeah.
it looks cooler than all like the flesh that just makes things.
Actually, the head's about the right size.
Heads about the right size.
It's the right size. It's just way too shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
It should have the.
Yeah. And as for height, these walls are 2 meters high each.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's-
that's about 2.5 meters tall, which it shouldn't be. It should be
Yeah.
1.7.
It's too damn big.
Actually,
Yeah.
wait. No.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
about 4.5 meters long too.
I don't have. That sounds right. I don't have a length though.
Yeah.
Of its existence.
I just
But 4
sent
meters
a.
sounds right.
I just sent a nice chart, and
Yeah.
so the thing with me is, like, with dinosaurs, I don't have that much of an issue with shrink wrapping because A, it looks cool typically, and B, we don't have modern analogs that can tell us. Well, we don't have a lot of modern analogs that can tell us what exactly their facial tissues would be. But for mammals like these, I'm a lot less forgiving because
I
we
might
do
push
have
back
modern
a little bit.
I would
I might
agree
push
with
back a little
Doc.
bit, Gojira. I don't think it's super shrink wrapped. Like, it
think
has
shrink
fleshy
wrap's the
lips, it has a
wrong
big old nose.
word.
Like, mainly the jugals are way too pronounced.
It doesn't
and-
have.
Shouldn't the jugals be pronounced?
No, they should be.
I actually don't know that because of, from what I understand of how pigs work, the jugals.
It should be more. Yeah.
It shouldn't just. I know what he's saying. What he's saying, it should just be a giant rounded thing. But from what I understand, that might not be true. It might literally just be a jutting out, like, thing that's just there.
Like,
Yeah, which is
honestly,
what this
like,
is.
well, honestly, like, Agate Springs, like their Daeodon model, It's actually like a lot more ideal. It has
I
a
would
lot
say
more.
that jugal is even more
like
pronounced.
it should be more like a hippo. Like it should have more muscle to. Like, let me rephrase. Like
I just realized
it's just pure. It's just pure bone. It should be. It should have a lot of muscle around it.
No, it's not the jugal that's the issue. I just realized this. Go back to its face. It's two issues.
Yeah.
It's not the jugal. It's the jugal sticking out's fine, but look where
Like
it
the
comes back
zygomatic?
in. It comes back
Oh,
in very much
oh
shrink wrapped.
god,
That's the issue.
it is so bad.
That's like it has very visible zygomatic there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, its
zygomatic
lips are
grips.
shit on the
Yes,
sides of its
its
side of its
lips
face.
are not.
That's my
Like-
issue mostly with it.
It looks. Again, it looks inbred. Like it looks like you know, like the Isle Royale wolves that have like those weird interlocking teeth and just
Yeah.
misshapen. It
It's
looks
a
like
warthog.
this.
It's been warthogified.
Yeah, and it should not be warthogified because these were not closely related to pigs.
Even though they probably acted like a pig. Very much
Now,
so.
May I ask something?
Yes.
How many of these discrepancies? How many of these differences do you think are due to it being forced to be a cold weather animal on the Ark? Like, could that explain the shrunken legs and the extra fat?
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah,
it
that
could.
would definitely do it.
Yeah, and the greater fur coat definitely.
Yeah,
Because
that's cold animal stuff.
Like how plausible do you think this is as a cold weather intelligence?
Not at all, but it should have
No.
more. Actually, I don't even know if it should have more
I mean-
fur. Depends how cold the Ark is.
Like if it's
and how
if
much
it's, like-
fat would it have?
yeah, 'cause
yeah,
quite
if it's like in the fringes of the, if it's like at the base of the mountains where
It should
there's
be
not a lot
fine.
of snow, or if it's like boreal, then sure, this is all right. But if it's like at the top of the mountains or completely snow, no, it should be basically an entelodont, a woolly entelodont, a woolly mammoth entelodont.
Mind you, it does mention that it has a insanely fast metabolism, so maybe this thing just keeps eating and just basically just acts like a living furnace.
Which
I mean, that would kind of tie into its ability because, higher temperatures heal faster, right?
Yeah, and that's how it gets its ability. Which, speaking of its ability, this is a good way to put a game mechanic into a game.
I would kind of agree with you, but I think the ability would fit more for like a dire wolf, like something that's more obviously a pack animal.
Well, I think that's be like an alpha call. I do like the healing idea. Mind you, I do think there are better things to put it on, like an elephant, but an entelodont isn't a bad idea. And it also allows an entelodont to be in the game. But with that, I would like sleep.
You could give it a different ability.
Yes, you could. Actually, a fun ability would be that it could like process food into something.
Oh yeah, like make it super good at gathering materials from creatures.
Yeah,
because it can just eat everything.
Or maybe
it can just have to be able to gather resources from everything.
A good bone processor.
Yeah, but
or a good omnivorous.
Actually, it'd be like maybe if Ark had I don't know why Ark doesn't have bones as a collectible thing. It should.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
It should.
And this would be like let's say it did, and you need bone paste. This would be where you could put bones in its inventory, and it would just make it into bone paste or marrow or something.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool idea. But with that, it's about an hour and 20 minutes.
So
it's
how about
10 in the morning?
Well, here, Dom, how about you rank it first while I lead my army to the Alpha Carno?
I have gone back and forth on this thing. Initially, I thought I remembered I liked it. I then got my model Daeodon and looked more into this thing and thought I hated it. After looking at it in game, it's still not great. But it does what it should, which is it gives Intellidont, which is all I really care about. It doesn't give Daeodon, as there are very specific things with Daeodon. But the issue with not giving Daeodon is like we have 3 Intellidonts, and they've kind of all been homogenized with each other because of how it's been going. To the depths of B tier you go, creature.
Oof.
Like,
is there a worse fate?
Yeah, it gives Intellidon. Oh, you killed a piranha. It gives Intellidon, but no passive healing.
Well, they're healing.
Interesting. It gives Intellidont. It doesn't give Daeodon. I like its mechanic because I think healing fun, and it's a unique way of doing it, and it gives an explanation to do it of its high metabolism, and that does explain why it's a cold weather creature. But this thing would be a lot higher tier if Andrewsarchus wasn't added to the game. This would be like high A, low S if Andrewsarchus wasn't in the game. But B.
I don't know. Should we? Well, I mean, I guess we can compare creatures to one another. That's fair. Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying there. And Gojira, maybe we should have you finish off the rankings since it's your
finish it off with a gun.
Misshapen inbred baby.
Actually, you know what this is? This is a designer Intellidon.
That's
exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's a selectively bred Intellidont.
Oh, hey, look, another member of the cast of Walking with Beasts.
Intricatherium. That's not its real name. Paraceratherium.
Also, apparently this thing can jump in midair.
I've been saying all the incorrect names today.
I don't know. I feel bad saying this, but I kind of agree with the depths of B tier, as I feel there's so much more you could do with this. And while it is kind of general Intellidont, this isn't Daeodon. Daeodon is a cool creature. It's absolutely freakish, but it's a really neat animal. And I think you could do really neat things with it. And they just kind of didn't. Actually, I rescind the B. I'm giving it a C.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah. Andrewsarchus being in the game also does not help its case.
Yeah, no.
As that's how you do it. That's not even an Intellidont, but that's how you do an Intellidont.
That's how you do an Intellidont.
It's a better Intellidont than the Intellidont.
It is.
Which is not a good sign.
No. Anyways, Gojira,
right.
Murder.
Go ahead, Gojira.
I hate it. Like, this is Daeodon in name only. Like, the mechanic is interesting, I guess. Like, it is kind of gimmicky, but the design is just, it is so ugly and badly proportioned. It is awful. It is what you said, a designer show Intellidont. It is just, like, the body is completely, like, misshapen. Head is too shrink-wrapped. The animations make it even worse. And I'll bet you I would, like, not... Even if Andrewsarchus wasn't in the game, I would still hate it. So it is in the depths of D tier.
Yeah, I'm being swarmed right now.
D for Daeodon.
Daeodon.
Okay, I thought you were going to put this in F tier, and I was going to be like, that's a bit too harsh, but yeah.
Yeah, that kind of slams it into the not quite depths, but C. Yeah, well, shoot.
Actually, it might be our first E tier.
Yeah.
It's
Would
not.
you care to bring up well, it's not the first, but second.
No.
Would you care to bring up the ranking Dom.
I
Well,
don't mind at all.
Well, I find where I put the wheel.
Yeah, you should probably find that. Do we
Yeah.
think
Probably
it's
find
above
that.
or below gotcha?
Kind of below.
Yeah,
I would
below.
I would vote above, but that's because I despise gotcha on a fundamental level. So
Like
Really, yeah.
the only reason Daeodon isn't in F tier for me is because the game mechanic is interesting.
now, while Doc finds the wheel, once he does, he'll tell me.
Yes, I have found it.
So fun fact: technically, we should already know what we were getting, but we have lost the footage again of the wheel spin. We were supposed to roll Fjordhawk, but we have decided to, because of what Fjordhawk is, it is a hawk and that's it. We've decided to combine it with Argentavis and make a weird predatory big bird episode. Yeah. So
Two for the price of
yeah. We might do that with some of the other things, like we're doing it with light pets, just so we're not constantly going over ourselves and stuff. And yeah. So with that,
but
our first live real reaction.
Yes. So peek behind the curtain. For the past 10 episodes, we have spun the wheel in advance because we wanted extra time to prepare. After 10 episodes, we found that's not super necessary.
No.
So we are going to be recording our wheel spin live, folks.
Yeah.
So we are going into this just as blind as you.
Yeah. Because most of our research is actually done either right before the episode, or, as in a lot of cases, I tend to have a few Wikipedia articles and things already up on my screen because quoting from there is better than memory.
Well, not just Wikipedia. We do also draw from actual papers, and
which is
from official sources.
We don't just browse Wikipedia.
No,
we're not that amateur.
I will quote Wikipedia because it's usually a good summary, but I do make sure to check the paper because sometimes Wikipedia either gets its sources weird, like mentioning that Hamalacefri has childbearing hips.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the time with paleontology, it tends to be right. The Wikipedia tends to give every option, but it's very helpful to check the papers to make sure you know what the author is. Also, give credit to the authors. You better.
Of course.
Yep.
All right. Now then, shall we spin the wheel?
Go ahead.
Yes, we should.
This is also the first time we've done this in like 2 months.
Yeah, we can also see the names now on it. I can't see through the pixels,
okay.
but
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, no.
Spin.
And it is.
Oh no!
No!
Oh no! It's monkey time.
We get the time.
Yes.
It's monkey time.
And
this is a good design,
Big
by the way.
time, baby.
It's not a. It's a good old design. It's not a good current of this creature because of new research, but it's a good design.
That is new research.
Yes, it is a good Bigfoot.
It's a good.
yeah.
This was the first creature added to Ark after its initial beta. Alpha. Was it pre-release?
I did not know that.
It is.
That also means we get to talk about. We get to talk about the Yeti and the Yowie and all Orang Pendek.
And our opinions on what Bigfoot could be and did it even exist?
It's a man in a suit.
That's my opinion. We get to dive into cryptozoology, folks. I hope you're excited.
We're gonna lose all credibility with zoology. So.
Now, another piece of the currents. Doc mentioned that we might be able to record a second video tonight, even if it wasn't late. No.
And
we're at an hour and a half with Daeodon.
Yeah.
Yes, my computer battery is at 35%, so...
Alright.
But
Now that
thank you,
said,
everyone.
before we do poof, oh, sorry, do you want to do the outro, Dom?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Of course, it's me, Markiplier. Now. Um. Thank you, everyone, for watching and subscribing. I know our past recent videos have been on less exciting creatures because the wheel has given us very unlucky things besides like Daeodon and our first video Allosaurus. Um, I hope that this plus Procoptodon plus Daeodon hopefully is more entertaining than us talking about a fake creature with questionable biology for 30 minutes trying to say anything.
Yeah.
Um, you may realize
Yeah.
this when we start getting into some of the bigger fake creatures that even if it has good biology, if there's not much real science to talk about, videos tend to be shorter and we tend to not. We tend to just not talk that much. So, hope you enjoyed the video and join us next time for I get to rant about
Something
dumb.
actually fun.
Oh god, yes.
Apes
I think
together.
Daeodon is
Strong.
fun. Science Daeodon fun. This a fun arc.
Adios.
See ya.
Yeah.